Oh, now we are live.
And we are live.
So, hi everyone. I know we literally just started, so it might take a few minutes before it hops into your notification fields on your social media. But so, welcome to a very special live. And the guest today is Dr. Anthony Mattis, aka Tony. And I'm Gaia, and I have the joy to be the coordinator for Europe events for Access Consciousness. And there is a bit of a reason why we're having this conversation today. And you probably have been also watching some other live that have been happening with wonderful people and already conversation have already, you've been everywhere and anywhere already with this topic, so I'm wondering where else today the conversation is. But so do you want to start already with something, Anthony, before I just like
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, no, this is like, for me personally, it's an exciting time. It's, being able to contribute to the Symphony of Possibilities class and universe, what Dr. Dane here has created over the last 22 years is it's an honor for me. And I don't know that I've ever been so excited about anything on a professional level as I have with this class coming up, and it'll be the very first one in Budapest, Hungary, which is one of my favorite places in Europe to go. And we have such amazing hosts that are going to be, hosting this amazing class, and they're so grateful and honored to be a part of it, and it's just awesome. It's just going to be so much fun, and I just can't wait to be able to contribute this beautiful universe to people around the world.
That's amazing. Thank you. So yeah, you did an amazing sum up already, and we are already diving in. And so it is the opening of symphony. So the
Yeah.
opening of symphony class. And it's funny, I was going to ask you any reason why Budapest, but you already said it. It's one of your favorite country in Europe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the first ever that this class is actually going somewhere, and so it is Budapest. And then you will actually be why Tony's goes to Budapest, because when we are kids we have some, like, in French we had Martin goes to the beach, Martin goes there, and so we had those books, and so now it's Tony goes to Budapest, Tony goes to Dubai, because we can already announce that as well, that there will be one in Dubai as well, end of April. Tony goes to Mexico. Anyway, it's gonna be this little fun journey that you can also be part of, and Tony is leading it. And so, question, sorry, we have translators. I hope I'm not talking too fast. So once again, thank you, translators. If you're listening to that live and you don't understand anything that we're saying, there is translation available. You can find the Zoom in the comments. And so, first of all, any reason why Tony? Do you have any fun explanation of why you call Tony here and not Anthony?
Anthony. Well, it's funny. There's two reasons I would think. So Tony is actually something that Dr. Dane, Dane here, the creator of the Symphony of Possibilities and the ESB, Energetic Synthesis of Being work. I guess it was in Croatia the last time we had an SOP class, and he just started, letting people know that I'll be overseeing the afternoons of the SOP class, but instead of addressing me as Anthony or Dr. Anthony, he's like, Tony, right? And so he kind of sort of said Tony because it's like, it matches this energy of so many different things. It was to kind of create a rise out of other people and bring up the judgments and all that stuff. But there is also an aspect of there, how like we all have different sides to ourselves, and sometimes like the part of us that is us is the one that we hide the most, right? And so
Interesting.
yeah, and so it's like Tony, I don't want to say it's like an alter ego, but a lot of times I guess I've been brainwashed through university as that, you must be a professional, you must say the right things, you must be proper. And then when I'm actually letting loose and just being me, it's not Dr. Anthony Mattis anymore. It's like Tony, so it's like Tony sort of like represents this like loose, says anything, uninhibited, has no filters on his mouth. And and all of that. So that's, you'll see some old YouTube videos when I'm talking about the tools of access consciousness, and it's like Tony's coming out. And Tony's also a stereotype of Italian men from the particular area in the United States that I came from, which was New York and New Jersey. It's like,
I mean,
yo, Tony,
it's West Side Story. Like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear Tony.
Exactly. So, so sometimes when I get frustrated, Tony comes out. It's like, hey, how you doing? So
Well,
it was just for fun. So we just thought it'd be funny to say Tony's going to Budapest to make people curious about what's this about.
No, it is fun, and it's really cool also addressing that energy of like what is the me that I'm hiding, like, and you don't have to come up with your new name, and you can, but like it's really and SOP really allows you to get to that. And I mean, I know you've been addressing it on many dive already, but so you've been around for a while. Like, you've been using the access tools since what, 11 years, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, so the opening of Symphony journey has begun a while ago for you now. And I mean, I also got to be in those classes where Tony has came out and where Dr. Dane has been like, hey, like actually you've been covering the afternoon of the Symphony of Possibilities classes in the last classes. So can I ask you a bit of like this? I hope you're fine with me asking that, but like, how has it been for you, that journey of like, hey, now you get on stage and what do you know about Symphony?
Oh, so geez, a gift. First of all, it's been a gift. It's opened me up even to more sort of like energetic universes. And when I say that, it's not exclusive to me. It's what it's allowed me is to actually perceive what's available for all of us. So being able to be up there and work with Dane and him talking about what he's actually doing and being for people so they can start to access these energies. Being on stage created this like another opening for me personally to really start to get clarity as to what it is that he's actually doing and being with this amazing work. And so for me, it's just been like this infinite download of awarenesses. And when that occurs, it creates this knowing in your universe that becomes a part of you, and that no one can ever take away from you. And so for me, it's helped me to build up my confidence regarding just this energetic universe that we live in. Because, when we talk like this, I'm trying to think of like just people who never even do energy work. And it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to the common person, but it's not. It's very real. It's very palpable. You can actually feel it. You can taste it. You can touch it. You can smell it when it starts to become part of you. And then I know for me, like leading up to this, it's just for me personally, it's been this amazing energetic resource that has sliced through and cut through the things that have held me back my entire life. All the trauma and drama released and dissipated. All my insecurities. I'm not going to say all of them. I'm still insecure about certain things here and there. But like that stuff,
all of us.
Yeah, I mean, but that stuff used to paralyze me, guy. Like I couldn't, like it used to paralyze me. And like no matter what I did, no matter how many therapists I went to, no matter how much metaphysics I did or motivational seminars, none of it could change it. And then here comes these tools of access consciousness, all of the tools. And then in particular, the Symphony of Possibilities and energetic synthesis of being, ESB and SOP, it had this miraculous way of slicing through those blocks. And it went way beyond my cognitive understanding. And after a while, I started to feel this space in my world. And I started to, like, all the things that my previous mentors would always say about you have this great potential and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, but how do I access it? Everybody keeps telling me that and I'm tired of hearing it. It's like, I have all this potential, but it's not, where the fuck is it,
Where's Tony?
Yeah. Well, what SOP created for me is it finally got me to start to access these potential, whatever the fuck that is, and that means. and it's beautiful, where nothing else worked. Nothing else was able to access that. And so I'm just super grateful. I'm glad that I get to pay it forward, so to speak, in these classes, invite people into my universe within this universe. And, what Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and Dr. Dane, what they've showed me, what they've taught me, for me working on them over the last 8 years, 11 years in Access, but none of this really didn't show up until about 8 years ago. And I just have so much I can share with everyone. And so I've been bugging Dane for the last 4 years, like, come on, let me get in the game. I could help. He's like, yeah, you're not ready yet. Until about a year ago. And it's just, I feel like we've been flying ever since. And so I'm grateful. I can't wait. And I can't wait to just be a contribution to those people who have already taken the SOP classes. And then also for the new people who have no idea what this is. It's just an exciting time.
So yeah, so if you do have no idea what it is, I mean, if you have done a energetic synthesis of classes, energetic synthesis of being classes, that was like, that doesn't sound correct, because we're usually saying ESB, right? I mean, ESB is that energy. And so if you have done that classes, you actually have the prerequisite to attend the opening of the symphony class, and it could have been taken at any time. So it's probably like, you probably are understanding. I mean, it's so funny because my words are going away as we are more talking about the energy. I'm like, oh, right. And so yes, you probably a bit know about this world. And if you don't know, there's many video on YouTube as well that you can watch on Dr. Dane here, and you can discover also what is a bit the ESB energy as well, like first for this class. And then I'm sure, Anthony, you also have lots of videos also that we can find, that we also get what you're opening to. And and so, because you were talking, so there's like this energy, but so, because like what I know with your classes, when I'm a bit aware of, is like this thing of like, it's okay to at least start, because sometimes also with the, like you were talking about, oh, I have this high potential, but like you already want to be so good already, right? You're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, but you need to start somewhere. And so it will be like a class where like full of people that are just willing to like discover what energy is, and you're going to be there to like contribute and show a way of what it is.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Even as a chiropractor, my trade is I'm a professional chiropractor, a licensed chiropractor. So I'm used to working with my hands to create natural healing in people's bodies and all of that. But even when I got to Access, when I learned about SOP, and I'm like, that's just for those special people who know how to do that special kind of energy work. I'm not sure if that's for me. But it's like, in order to become a certified facilitator of Access Consciousness, you had to take these classes. So I kind of just took it, not with the intention to be doing these sessions around the world, or not even doing it in my clinic as a chiropractor at that time. I just did it because you had to do it, because it was a prerequisite to become a certified facilitator, because I really loved how the Access Consciousness bars impacted my life and my children's lives, and the foundation class, so I had no expectations to go as far as I have with Access. And so, but what ended up happening as a result of taking the Symphony of Possibilities classes is my whole entire life started to change. And I started to get these awarenesses, these grand awarenesses of like my entire life, and the reasons why people were suffering, the reasons why I was suffering, the reasons why I couldn't break out of the suffering. And then that just started to change, specifically because of these energies. I didn't even think I had a capacity in this area. Like I said, I just thought it was for those select few people that like to work on the energetic fringes of healing, Well,
recently someone asked me, to be able to do that, do you need to have a gift?
No, it's you. You are the gift. That's the thing. And that's the gift that this work is, because it has to do with your unique energies, whatever those are. And that's what the SOP classes begin to open up and contribute to you actually accessing, is actually your unique gifts, your unique energies, and capacities and how you can be a contribution, not just to the world, but to your own life.
So what would you say maybe would be the difference between someone who would be doing a first session for the first time and someone who has done lots of classes, lots of like someone who gets in the room, it's like, oh my God, it's my first time. There's a body on the massage table. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, what would you say to that person that is like, oh my God, and everyone is watching and they're probably like going to see, I don't know what I'm doing. What do you say to that person?
That's exactly what my point of view was the first day I worked on Gary and Dane. I mean, Dane asked me to work on him as a chiropractor. Okay? That's different than what we're talking about. All right. And then Gary asked me to work on him as well. But I was like, I don't think he wants chiropractic. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, what, and I'm like, thank God Dane was in the room. Cause I'm like, Dane, does Gary want chiropractic? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do? And he's like, you'll figure it out. And then I remember Dane's story about how he and Gary met for the first time. And I'm like thinking, is something similar going to happen? So all I did was put my hands on Gary's body because literally I didn't know what to do. Because he's like, I don't want chiropractic. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I just laid my hands on him. And then all of a sudden his body goes, and I'm like, what? Like, I didn't do anything. I just was like, hi. And so what I would say to those people who have never done this work, even if you're an accountant or a lawyer who's not in any kind of energy healing, anything, none of that matters. Because I didn't even know what I was doing. Like I said, I just showed up. I lowered my walls and barriers. And I was like, I had more of the energy of like, hi, I'm here for you. And I had no intention. I wasn't setting intentions and any of that crap. It was literally, I dropped my walls and barriers. I laid my hands on him and I'm like, it was more of like the energy of, I have your back and I'm just going to be here with you. Now, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he has a lot of amazing capacities. But one of the capacities he has is his ability to receive all energies. And because he has that ability to receive all energies, he was able to tap into my universe and aspects of my being that even I have not been able to do up at that particular point. So because of his ability to receive all energies and not have a point of view, not put up walls and barriers to it, he was able to perceive this gift that I can be in the world. And when I kept that, and then he's like, we would like you to start doing sessions. And I'm like, but I don't know what I'm doing. I kept saying, I don't know what I'm doing. And he goes, it's not what you know, it's what you be. You kept saying it's your being. It's your being. So to go to the question that you asked me, for people who don't know what they're doing, great, even better. Those people, you guys are even easier to work with because all I'm expecting for you to do is show up. And that's what the whole weekend's going to be about, is learning how to just be and begin to recognize that your being during the session is actually what matters most, not what you're doing. It's not about waving your hands in the air and doing all the stuff. It's about you being and being this energy, space, and consciousness when you're with someone, and then you're allowing that to contribute. Now, you may not know cognitively what's going on. Hell, I still don't even know cognitively what's going on. A little bit, like here and there, yeah. But specifically, not really. But what I do know how is to access more of the energies that can contribute not only to them, but also to me during the session. And together we can create something magnificent. So it's about being. You don't have to know a damn thing.
That's good. And yeah, and it's a lot about trusting even more. So what you know. So it's so funny when you talk. There's so many things that comes, and when you go silence, I'm like, wow, but there's space. And you know what I realized when you say with this whole doing, and it's often when like we want to receive something from someone, we're like, oh, but there's something that needs to be fixed about me. But then you have someone like you or someone that does BSOP, and they're just like, I'm just no point of view in space for you. And I realized that often when you have, like a problem to deal, like often you just say, okay, I need space. So actually the SOP session is giving you that space that is required to allow the change. So
Exactly. And also being in the question too during the session. Like you don't want to like as the person like doing the session, you don't want to have like an intention because an intention is sort of like a conclusion. It's a projection and it'll actually limit what's possible during the session. And to actually go back to the beginning, just so you know, like I was still grieving. I was still in like trauma and drama in my life. I was still dealing with so many insecurities within myself. So if you're waiting, I don't know, just got dark. Oh, so anyway.
and the light be.
Yeah, so it's like that showed up even in the midst of the grieving I was in the midst of, my insecurities, me feeling like a failure in life. I was a widower at the time. And to be honest with you, when that all showed up, I'm thinking these guys are just trying to make me feel good. I thought they were blowing air up my ass, you know? And I'm like, they just want me to feel good about myself because they feel sorry for me because of my tragic stories and whatever. And so what I want to say to people, even if you feel really low or down about yourself, even if you're broke and you have no money and you feel like you have no value in life, you can still be a miracle for someone. Your unique energy, because it's your being that matters. It's not the things that have happened to you in your life, you know, that affects how amazing you can contribute to someone's world. So, and that's the gift that this work is. It's not about what's happened to you. It's not about your insecurities. It's really about your being.
So in life, we all grieve, right, about something. I mean, you just mentioned that you've been grieving about, like, I think your ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, grieving can also go into like you can lose a job, you can lose a friend, someone die, like your grandma. So we all go through that, and I don't know, we don't speak about it that often. So I'm wondering if there's anything that you would like to talk about that with this also Symphony of Possibilities energy, this ESB energy, what contribution it can be for all like the downs, but also the up, that we can have in life. Like, how do you use it maybe at different level? Or
what I'll never forget, it was so we have a class called Maestro, right? It's a Maestro class, which is basically like the Symphony of Possibilities on steroids. And it's like you need the most amount of prerequisites to attend this class. And so anyway, and I think how many have we had so far? 8 or something? I don't know. But it was at the 4th Maestro class. And it was halfway through the week. And I'm getting to the answer to your question.
No, please take your time. Take you all the ways you want.
The energies were so intense and beautiful. It was like, I remember at some point, and I know this is going to sound really weird to some people, it was almost like the heavens opened up. I swear, I'm just using words to interpret what and then it was like, and I was like, whoo. And so and then I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. It was so funny because I'm like, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. And I go run up.
I like that you say it's so funny. I thought I would have a heart attack.
Yeah. So I go, Dane. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. And it's not a bad thing, but I don't know if my body can handle it. Like, and he's like, don't just try to perceive it through your body, perceive it through your being. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I went back and I worked on my partner. But then after the class was over, I was crying and crying and crying, not because I was sad. I was crying because the energies that I accessed were so grand and glorious that all the things throughout my life that I made a problem, even the most tragic thing that had occurred to me, which was my late wife's suicide and being a widower and having the heartache for my children suffering too, that they don't have their mommy anymore. That was hard, you know? It was like having that energy open up to me, all those things became insignificant. It dissipated. It went away. It was like, holy shit. And I remember saying to Dane, I'm like, I'm so sorry for coming to you for facilitation over the stupidest shit over and over and over again, because now I could see where none of it mattered. None of it fucking mattered, because what's actually available to all of us is truly a grand and glorious life and living. And yeah, some people do go through tragedy, because maybe people around you make certain choices, right? And we hold on to life so much in this reality, right? But what if you don't have to be at the effect of the things that people choose around you? What if you can still have a grand and glorious existence and be the contribution to others around you, to your community, to your family, to the world, whatever, and especially to yourself? So it was like, man, when that happened to me, it was like, and here's the thing, it's available for every one of us. That's the thing that I was also shown. It was like, this isn't just for you, my man. It's for everyone. And the Symphony of Possibilities and all the tools of access are designed to contribute to us accessing those very energies. Because what we've decided are our problems are totally insignificant to what's actually truly available for all of us. All of us.
Thank you. It's really inspiring. I think probably many people will find that as inspiring as I mean, what you live most of the time, probably people will be like, how can you like get over that? Or not to get over, but like when I see you, like the joy you be and just like, let's go, like we could not even imagine whatever, like you could have lived. And as for many people, like, and like sometimes we just like, where is my joy? So in a way, this Symphony of Possibility energy is at least a way, if you're looking for something like that, of like, where's my joy and what can we create in the world, like you say, the access tools and the opening of symphony and the Symphony like of Possibilities is a way, like I don't know how to say it with better words, but like to start getting onto that joy of being you.
Start accessing it.
Accessing it. Yeah.
Perfect name.
Yeah.
It's a perfect name, because that's what we're doing. We're actually accessing what's already there. But it's because we've made everything in this like world, like it's like, this is my problem and we can't get beyond it, right? But what the tools begin to do is they start to go whoop, whoop, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's like, oh my God, whoa. Now what do I get to choose? Now what do I get to be? But a lot of people freak out too when the space gets created as well.
Yeah.
I did. My first in-person SOP, I got stripped down. I had all this shit that I came there with, and it was like, and then Dane did a session on me, and then like the whole week of receiving and giving, went, and I'm like, for 8 weeks I couldn't eat. I'm like, what the freak? But thank God, like I was sort of, all the other work that I'd ever done up until that point were like, you may detox, you may go through a difficult transition before, blah, blah, blah. And nothing ever touched me. But that first SOP class, man, I was like, I wanted to suck my thumb. I was like, where's my pacifier? Like, because I felt so vulnerable and raw. But that was like the beginning. Like, holy shit. Like, holy shit. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be uncomfortable for however long it lasts. It won't stay. And then once everything it didn't go back to normal, but once like sort of like the dust settled from that energetic opening, let's just say, I was stronger than ever. And I knew that was going to be part of the journey for all of us. You know how it is to take these classes. Sometimes you can't even say your name. You're like, who the fuck am I? Or you may be shaking. You're like, I need space, everybody. Please don't talk to me. And it's not a bad thing. It's because you're going through this like transformation, but it's like energetic, man. It's like, you can't even describe it, right? It's like, but it's available to all of us. And that's what's available to everybody, is just fucking possibilities, man.
It is. And it's funny because you could call that like, it's another world. Like you're opening to a new world, because like we have this comfort zone, right? We are comfortable in your whole life, like that. And then suddenly kind of something happens. Well, not all the time, but like, or you choose something that suddenly kind of put you in a not really comfortable zone anymore. And that's where you like, I kind of like need to look something. And then that's kind of sometime when you start looking at, and then you're starting to discover that is this whole world of energy that is around you. And like you were saying at the beginning, that you might already be aware of, or you might just be starting to get aware of. And like, and once you have order that open that door, it's like you're just like, I mean, it's not crazy to say that everything around us is energy. I mean, that has actually been proved. We know about it. Like,
Yeah.
so, and now it's starting with exploring what it is, to also acknowledge that we also use energy all the time. And now you actually know even more how to navigate with that, right? Kind of give you the guidelines that you don't get, like you should get when you were born. Like, hey, actually, you're welcome to an energetic world, but you're not going to remember that.
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
some years, you might be like, what's going on? But like, you knew that maybe, but now, like, let's go back to the guidelines that you always knew before. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like just accessing the miracle that you are, and the consciousness that you be. And that's what these tools, to me, that's a part of what they're about. There's so much more. So,
Yeah.
and it's a great place to play. So whether you've had the SOP classes already, you're being exposed to sort of like a different maybe delivery of it, which for those of you who've already taken these classes, what that will contribute is just you being aware of just different energies. And then you can take that to your sessions when you go back home, because you'll have different energies available to you that maybe weren't available to you before, even if you had 10 SOP classes. So, and then for the new people, to me, it's just a wonderful sort of like introduction or opening to this beautiful universe to, to even receive more of the gift that Dr. Dane is for us in this particular area.
I mean, it's true that if you're someone that already knows the Symphony of Possibility, been doing classes, like me, for example, you will know that each time you are receiving or practicing, each time you knew, like you just like you get to something else. And I mean, and so actually doing the last Maestro class, you were talking about Maestro. So you got to do a session on Dr. Dane, right? Tony on Dr. Dane. And so, and at some point, like you were like so far away from the stage, right? And you were still working on him. So for people that never seen that, you might be like, what is she talking about? Anyway, come to a class, you'll know. But so you were actually like kind of next to me, and you were like, and then I was like, because many time in class it was like, but when you all of those bodies, I know I'm saying a lot of like, I'm sounding American, but but so, because I've always been wondering, when you are so many bodies in the room and you're working on someone, but you have someone right next to you, how can you ignore that energetically? I was like, you cannot, like the person is there, right?
You don't want to ignore it, actually. You want to include it.
Yeah. And for the first time, I really got it. Go for it if you want to say something. But yeah,
well, because what I would have done in the past, and a lot of people do, is I start to get self-conscious. Like, what's this person thinking about me? So it actually starts to collapse the session. And so instead, especially being in a class of maestros, I'm like, oh my God. And I remember thinking, what if I included all of us here? Because you could feel the judgments, positive and negative, right? And it's very easy to allow that to collapse this infinite space. But instead, I was like, okay, what would it take for me to be able to use it? So, and it was good because we're close too. So it's also nice to tap into the energy of your friends who actually have your back. So it's awesome. But then I was also able to use people who don't have your back too, because that energy contributes as well. And I had no point of view about it, which was awesome.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see it that way. I didn't see like the way like, oh, but also including everyone that didn't have your back. In my sense, like everyone has everyone's back. But
that's your reality. Not everybody has your reality. I wish.
So I was like, oh, well. But and also, well, so because this class is live only, by the way, if you're wondering, if you want to attend this class, come to Budapest. But that also made me realize the gift that it is to be all together in one room. I know through COVID we have done a lot of online, and we are so like trying to empower even more people to travel to live events, because it is such a different experience as well, like to be next to each other with body. I mean, of course, we know that the energetic, it doesn't have a how do you say, a border, right? But I mean, it is also different when you're all together in one room and like playing also with energy and like, so just for everyone to know. But yeah, I'm actually very excited to discover more. Like coming to that class for me kind of also like feels like a first time. So I'm like, I know we are like a bit like well, really the openers of something new as well all together. So I'm really looking forward for that. And I just want to address something that I am, if you are looking and you might have that question, yes, you will become a practitioner of the Symphony of Possibilities session. You can give that to other people after the class. So I know some people were wondering. And I think that's it. That was one of the main questions. And yeah, I mean, thank you, Anthony. I think we have done our exploration today.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. Anything else that you want to add?
No, that's it. Just come play. If it's light, if anywhere in university, like, come. And if you're like, fuck you, come anyway. Because there could be something in it for you.
That's true. Sometimes when you're resisting something the most, it might be something you want to look at. And well, at least we hope that this live also, if it's the first time you hear about anything, might give you an interest of what the Access Consciousness tools are. You can just type Access Consciousness on internet or on YouTube. And if you have already done classes and you've been wondering, what the hell is Symphony of Symphony, or what the hell is Symphony of Possibilities? Well, now you get to know a little bit more. And Anthony has done many other lives with other wonderful people with their own question and their own energy that also allow different conversations. So please watch them and know more and enjoy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thanks,
Thank you, translators.
Thank you, translators.